Well, hello and welcome, and ooga booga
to our Chopper Edition, the Les Nessman Chopper Edition.
How's the traffic? Oh, I'm banging into my mic. Those poor people are going,
Welcome back, everybody, to our Air Radio News, loosey-goosey news, nationwide news across Canada, across the world, and all things going on that we find important and we want to talk to you about.
So. And it's our rustic way of looking at Canada's news.
Pretty much. Big Russ Horton, myself, Lee Lakin, Leah Lylewood behind the camera. We want to say a big hello to our good friends here at the Appalachian Public Drink House in Georgetown, Ontario, Canada. And of course, Shelley and Tammy, you know, our princesses that
they're beautiful.
They're beautiful
women,
ladies.
And they won't go on camera.
No,
it's terrible. But
no,
they don't realize that every time they walk by, they're on.
They're on camera. They keep. Well, that's what I was saying off air was when we do the thing here Wednesday nights, we do a live acoustic jam here Wednesday nights, and they walk in front of the camera all the time, and yet don't even think about it, right? So,
but they will take care of you if you come in, and they're great gals. We love working with everyone at the Appalachian, and we support.
You can check them out on Facebook too, the Appalachian Public Drink House. Check them out. Great food. If you're ever in Ontario or the area, we'd love to have you stop by and check it out.
And of course, we support Canadian tourism around the world. It's been a long 2 years of COVID, and I can't exactly say we're coming out of COVID anymore because we're not. But things are loosening up, hopefully, and we'd love you to come and see us across Canada.
Love to have you here. Yeah,
we've
absolutely.
got so many wonderful places for you to come and see. We have British Columbia, we have the Yukon, the Great Northwest Territories,
the Great White North,
the East Coast, Newfoundland.
Oh God, yeah.
Ontario,
beautiful out there.
Alberta. We have so many beautiful things for you to see. So we are promoting basically Canadian tourism on this show. I want to remind everyone, because you and I have been in radio for a while, forever.
Don't say the number.
We're going to put a radio reunion together for
yes.
the radio stars and people who worked in radio.
And even not radio stars.
We did it a few years ago at the McGibbon Hotel.
It was a great success.
We had all the guys from Chum come up and FM 108 where I worked, and across the board, CFTR, CHFI. And all the little stations as well. We're doing that again, and we're hosting it here at the Appalachian in October.
Right.
So you guys we posted our video on your page this week just to show you that we are doing this, and we would love to see you here.
Absolutely, all are welcome.
Mike Devine, Barks, my buddies, and so many people. David Carr. So many wonderful people that I'd love to see. Scott Carpenter for Chum, who lives down in Virginia now.
Even Johnny Derringer, love to get him out. Come on out. We'd love to see you, man. It's been a long time.
I would. It would be an afternoon or maybe a weekend. One of the greatest weekends of my life, if we could pull it off. So we're doing it anyway. Whether it's going to be small or big.
And you got to think about it too. Without a lot of us DJs, a lot of you rock and roll stars wouldn't even have a job.
That's right. That's right. Every time
you'd be playing bars still instead of stadiums.
But the radio business has changed so much over the years now, and it's gotten more competitive with online radio.
We have our online radios. We got FM108.ca,
and of course Radio GTA, Halton Hills Online, our local stations. But to the radio people out there, it doesn't matter, male, female, what you
love to have you guys out.
If you were working in the office, if you were working on
Christy
the air,
Knight, Christy, come on out. I would love to see you. I haven't seen you in probably 20 years. Christy, come out to our reunion.
So this is our plea to you to come on out, and we're going to put the radio reunion and keep reminding you about it. Now, we can move on with the show. Of course, we're brought to you by the Appalachian, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And we were mentioning that before. You have to drop in to
check out their Facebook page. If you are in the area, you have to come in and try the food.
And if you come from out of town, come on the weekends, man.
Yeah,
we've got
it's the little room that rocks.
The little room that rocks, the Appalachian. Now it's all it's not all Russia this week. Things have slowed down a little bit news-wise with the Russian situation. Mariupol evacuations have resumed, though, with Russia regrouping in the Ukraine now. And I guess attempts to deliver aid and evacuate civilians in the besieged southern city of Mariupol resumed on Thursday as Ukraine prepared for new Russian strikes.
Yes.
Convoy of Ukrainian buses set out for the destroyed city to try to deliver humanitarian supplies and bring out civilians, said Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk, and the Red Cross as well. You have to feel for these poor people in the Ukraine that are going through hell. I mean, I can't even imagine the horrific.
No, we've never seen anything like that before. You know, like there's there's nothing for us to compare it to.
Well, the worst thing about it was, and the worst thing about it is our advanced technical situation. We can see
the technology today is instant.
You can see tanks being blown up. You can. Soldiers are sending out stuff on TikTok of blowing up Ukrainian both sides.
Yeah, it's coming out live as opposed to 2 weeks later when you finally get it through Reuters or Associated Press or something like that. You know, back in the Second World War and even the Vietnam Wars. And, you know,
and it's just horrific when you see that. And God bless them all. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, you got to remember these
a senseless war too. At this,
these poor Russian kids digging trenches in Chernobyl, digging up all this
radioactive dust and crap. And
why is this happening?
No, it's scary. It's really scary. We've been talking about oil prices and all kinds of crazy things going on with the Russian-Ukrainian situation going on, because basically everybody's cut off Russia from taking their oil and not accepting it. So U.S. President Joe Biden is ordering a release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve for at least the next 6 months in a bid to control skyrocketing energy prices and put further pressure on Russia to halt this invasion in the Ukraine. Biden made the formal announcement of the plan on Thursday morning, calling the size and scope of the oil release unprecedented, and it is unprecedented at this point. The world has never had a release of oil reserves at 1 million per day for a rate for this length of time. And the White House had mentioned this in a statement. This record release will provide a historic amount of supply to serve as a bridge until the end of the year when the domestic production ramps up. Now, that being said, the only thing I disagree with that on is the Saudis are sitting on massive amounts of oil reserve right now, and they're not releasing it. To me, that's just pure greed. That's just pure greed at that point.
It's a chess game.
It is. We should not be paying anywhere near the prices for oil we have. And the fact is, we produce enough oil in Canada to feed Canada, but we have no refineries left in Canada to refine it. Yeah. Which, to me, is, again, a massive, stupid move on the part of our Canadian government.
Well, things are... And now, North Korea, have you heard this one? Here's one to bake a cake for. This guy is absolutely...
This guy, he just...
North Korea may have launched its largest intercontinental ballistic missile and put the world on notice.
He's the Asian Trump.
He's a little fella, only about that high. Yeah. He wouldn't be able to get on one of the rides at the X.
No.
It wouldn't let him on.
No.
Especially with that haircut. This is the way the news was relayed on state-run television. It caused widespread bafflement, as a matter of fact. You know how conservative the North Koreans are with their clothing and everything else.
As conservative as you can get.
Instead of a triumphant but staid tones this time, North Koreans were treated to what they are not supposed to have, a Hollywood-style movie. Brought out all this stuff. It had it all. I guess Kim Jong-un in a leather jacket and dark glasses.
I saw that picture.
Video effects and dramatic music. Little fella here that eats cheese. North Korean Central Television usually broadcasts a repetitive diet of their leader, family propaganda alongside military band concerts and feature films about patriotism and feats of labor. Man, can you imagine living there?
No.
You know what?
To be honest with you, I think I'd rather take their Ukraine right now.
I think I would take my Buzz TV to Korea with me. Anything that deviates this sticks out like a sore thumb, of course, and the fact that it was a big Bruce Willis show.
Yeah, well, you heard about him, eh? He's had to step out of acting.
Thank you, Bruce, for all the wonderful
Absolutely,
years.
And you know what? Whether he had this or not, it was his time to go. Sorry, it just there is a time you see these actors carry on, and you go, "What are you doing? You know, you're just not John McClane anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but again, thank you so much, Bruce, for all the wonderful movies. The Red series, have you seen Red and Red 2?
Yeah.
I love those movies with Helen
Everybody's
Mirren,
seen it,
and and she's so sexy for an older lady. Oh my God, what a smoking hot woman. But it's just sad to see about Bruce and jumping, sticking with entertainment. We want to send our deepest condolences to Taylor Hawkins' family, the Foo Fighters, the Foo Fighter fans, Alanis Morissette fans. He was with Alanis for many years. He was on all her albums. The guy, and you know what it kills me is the interviews I've seen about him and stuff I've heard about him, is he was actually a really genuinely nice guy. He was just a great, fun,
Like
happy,
David Grohl is one of the guys.
you know, like they were just so down to earth. And Dave, Lee's Garage is opening up soon, so come to Lee's Garage. I know you're busy with the Taylor stuff, but you got to come to Lee's Garage. There are a lot of great musicians that you can come out and play with, including myself. But yeah, while we're on that entertainment thing, I just wanted to reach out about the Taylor Hawkins thing.
You're going to be going into more detail.
I was just so sad. But we're still staying on the COVID situation, because here in Ontario, or Canada at least anyway, an infection disease expert saying there's no doubt there's a sixth wave, and it's sweeping across Ontario, being driven by a highly transmissible BA2 subvariant. At the same time, restrictions have been lifted across the province. So he's saying that we've opened the doors to a new variant, and he's a disease specialist from the University of Toronto, and that now that we've taken these masks off, we've eliminated all our defenses. Furness says politicians lifted COVID-19 restrictions at a really inappropriate time and with a healthy dose of denial. The denial is going to be the crumble as cases rise, he warned about, and I think we all kind of suspected that anyway. Like, he's really not telling us anything.
Coming this weekend, it's COVID-6, the new beginning.
We had COVID 1, 2, or 2, 3, 4, and 5 with masks.
Exactly.
Not
just with masks, with closures, and we still had it.
It just goes to show you how one part doesn't listen to the other part. Ford lifted take your masks off. You don't have to wear them anymore.
We were the last province to do it.
Okay, which is great. I mean, thank you. And I still notice 75% of the people in the mall are wearing masks, and so am I. You know why? Because as I said on the other show, I haven't had a cold in 2 years. I haven't had anything wrong with me. Every 6 months, I used to catch something.
Yeah, but
everybody
it's nice
does.
to have the choice.
Yes,
sure.
But I don't like being sick either, so I'm taking off my mask again.
That's your choice, and you're allowed to have that now, so that's not a problem.
But be warned, do not ask Big Daddy and say, you don't have to wear that mask anymore, Big Daddy. Big Daddy wants to wear the mask, and anyone that wants to wear the mask has a right to wear the mask.
Okay, you got to quit talking about yourself in the third person. You're freaking me out.
Did you hear? I'm trying for a Seinfeld episode. Freddie Cannon. Okay, you remember that song Palisades Park?
Yes.
Freddie Cannon was a buddy of mine for many years at FM 108. He used to drop in on all of our shows, and he always talked in the third person. You'd be sitting there having a beer with him, and it's like, Freddie doesn't like that.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Freddie? Freddie's not happy.
What was the guy on Seinfeld?
Freddie's having a good time. That's how Freddie talks, Freddie Cannon. In the third person.
Yeah.
And the Seinfeld episode.
What was his name? What was the guy's name?
I can't remember.
Jimmy. Jimmy doesn't like that.
Jimmy doesn't like that.
With the shoes.
Whoever wrote that stuff is a genius.
Oh, God, yeah.
Absolute genius. Again, like our show, a show about nothing.
Pretty much. There you go. See?
George
we'll be as big as Seinfeld.
The funniest thing I ever saw on Seinfeld was the one with George laying on the couch in his underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And the other fella sent him a picture of him posing. And I just love it. Anyway, we're getting off track now. We do that on this show because we can. It's
exactly. We don't have somebody telling us we can't.
Now, talking about COVID, it's back in China. China's announced its biggest wide lockdown since the COVID outbreak began more than 2 years ago. City of Shanghai will be locked down 2 stages over 9 days while authorities carry out COVID-19 testing. The important financial hub has baffled a new wave of infections for nearly a month in China. Although case numbers are not high by our standards, they are high by theirs, I guess. And authorities have so far resisted locking down the city of 25 million people. Can you imagine locking down 25 million people?
I'm feeling shocked, Cotton.
That's the size of about New York, LA, Houston, all put together in one.
Yeah, all packed into a country that's smaller than Ontario.
Yeah, exactly.
Figure that one out. So,
Shanghai, no, that's in China. Shanghai's in China. You're talking about Hong Kong.
yeah, but even China itself, that country is the size of Ontario.
Yeah.
Like landmass wise, with that amount of population in it, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't realize Ontario was that big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Ontario is a massive land. That's why because you got to figure you got Algonquin Park up there that never gets used, can't be touched, can't be
Manitou and North Bay.
Exactly. Just it's the boom, boom, boom. Anything north of the shoreline going up the lake. Anything north of that's empty. It's barren, beautiful land. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I guess China is their cities are in certain areas. The central part of China is wilderness.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, it's mountainous.
It's mountainous.
It's mountainous.
And
inhabitable.
Yes.
Inhabitable. Mr. Justin Trudeau announced additional funding for BC First Nations to support healing for the residential school survivors as he visited the site of a former school on Wednesday. Trudeau was welcomed by First Nation elders and residential school survivors in the Williams Lake, BC, participating in a series of ceremonies and meetings aimed at reconciliation and healing. The visit comes about 2 months after Williams Lake First Nations announced it found 93 reflections indicating unmarked graves of children around the former St. Joseph Mission Residential School. The Prime Minister and Williams Lake First Nation Chief Willie Sellers said the additional $2.9 million in federal funding will be in addition to the $1 million provided earlier this year. So it's good to see them get some funding because they got to really work on the housing and the water up there. That's just been such a struggle for them in northern BC, and it kills me because it's all mountainous up there. You have some of the most beautiful water coming off the mountains, and they can't access it because they haven't had the funding. So it's at least he's doing something about it. This is in my opinion, it's a little too late because we saw a bunch of delegates go over to see the Pope this week. Do we have a story about that or no?
A brief one.
We had a bunch of delegates from the Cree and a few of the other Indian nations go over, get a formal apology from the Pope, which to me is just lip service.
He did give one, though.
He did give one to me, and again, that just shows that they're showing recognition for their stupidity and their ignorance over the years.
Let's hope that the years have changed the way they think.
If he hadn't apologized, I think the Catholic Church would have been in very serious trouble. With not just the governments, but with the people that follow the Catholic Church that much. If they hadn't apologized, that would have been really bad. So they were under the gun to do it.
And the Pope is coming, Canada. I don't know when, but he's scheduled to come. I think it's a good thing that
absolutely. This needs to be in the media every day. This needs to be in the media.
Can't go away.
This cannot be hidden and put away. This is one news story that needs to stick around so that our children and our children's children know what really happened, because this can't happen again. This is mass genocide in our own country. And you bitch about Auschwitz and Germany and doing what they did. This is, in my opinion, this is no different, just in a little bit smaller scale.
I meant to ask you guys if you wanted to come over to my place on the 7th of April, and everybody bring a potluck, and we can watch the new tabling of the federal 2022 budget on
yeah,
TV.
We're going to get right on that, brother.
All right. April the 7th, Deputy Prime Minister, and he was wondering, where the hell is he going with this?
I know, I was kind of doing the same thing.
Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland announced this on Tuesday, and we're all going to bake a cake for it. The budget, the first since the 2021 federal election, is expected to include increased defense spending, as well as funding for commitments such as dental care made as part of the new Liberal NDP confidence and supply agreement. I noticed the Liberal and the NDPs have got together.
Oh yeah,
And,
they're buddy now.
yeah, the latest economic update provided by Freeland virtually in December saw the government commit more than $8 million towards fighting COVID-19, while also predicting a moderate decline in the national deficit. So can I put you guys down for
Yeah,
Tuesday?
oh yeah, I'll be right there. I'll be there, sure.
Okay, and yeah,
I'll be one of those assholes that doesn't show.
Yes, but there you go. It's our duty to tell you what's going on in Canada, and that's not one of the most exciting things to talk about, but something that has to happen, of course.
Yeah, well, it's got to be done. You know, they postponed it a month anyway. On top of that, so it's nice to see it actually get done. But how much of that budget is reality? Really, like I think they put enough jargon in it so that the laymen like us just don't understand.
When you add up all the money that the government's given to people,
Sure.
since COVID,
How the hell are we still
started,
running?
Where are they getting the money to pay all these things from?
Well, the fact that we're paying
From
double
us.
for gas, yeah, the fact we're paying
That's what I
double
mean.
for gas and our food and our living expenses now, that usually is a good idea. So we're talking a little bit about entertainment news a little bit earlier. We want to get into this. If you haven't heard about the slap heard around the world, crawl out from the rock you've been under. But the Academy is actually doing an investigation. A little late, a little stalled, but they are doing an investigation. It condemns the actions of Mr. Smith, and last night's show read in the statement, we have officially started a formal review around the incident and will explore action and consequences in accordance with their bylaws, standards, and conduct, and California law. On top of that, the reverberations from actors Will Smith's slap at the Oscars, it just vibrates around the world and the globe. We've heard so many people talking about it. They did ask him to leave, and he refused, which again puts another
guy
red
won an
flag.
Oscar.
And they gave him a standing ovation when he did his speech, his so-called tearful speech. That's the best acting I've ever seen Will Smith do, was that speech. It was the guy. It's just he's not that good of an actor. I don't get it. I just don't. He's like Vince Vaughn. He's like what's the blonde guy with the weird nose? They do. His brother's an actor too, but they're terrible actors. They play the same role in every bloody movie they're in. So I don't get.
Always a French Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh well, yeah, big deal.
They were dusting.
Always.
They were dusting Chris's face for Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
All those. I stole that from somebody else.
But finishing off our entertainment news a little bit, sad story.
Oh, yeah.
Guy very personal to me as a drummer. The passing of Taylor Hawkins with great sadness. To announce this, I woke up and just was devastated at the age of
he's
50
one of your
years old.
heroes.
Big time. I followed this guy's career for years and years and watched him turn into this amazing drummer. And just so
Amazing
sad.
band, are you kidding?
He had just turned 50 years old. He passed away in South America. There's all kinds of speculations on different reasons. We're going to leave that out of it. Just a huge condolence to his wife and his two children, and all the Foo Fighter fans out there. Just
They canceled the whole
They
thing.
canceled the whole tour. It is done. Trying to replace him, it's going to be a situation almost like the Led Zeppelin situation where John Bonham passed away, the Who situation where Keith Moon passed away. How do you replace this guy? He's just such a talent and just such a shame. 50 years old, man. It just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart.
Good night. God bless.
God bless, man.
Because
thank you for all the amazing music. Thank
the
you.
sad thing is that I have a few friends that had tickets.
Yeah. Oh
They were
yeah.
coming to Toronto, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, they had to be. Yeah. But everything's canceled. It's just gone. Now, a strange thing happened at the Raptor game too. They had to call it off for a little while.
This was
'cause they had a
crazy,
big
eh?
Fire.
Fire!
70-minute fire delay, and all the players are sitting around listening to music for.
Well, they watched the speaker burn.
Yeah, but it was funny to see the players looking up. And
Yeah.
going, oh God, let's get out of here. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, that's one of the.
They had to
things
evacuate the
that-
whole place, and then they wouldn't let the fans back in because it was only like 4.5 minutes left in the game. So there was no point in filing everybody back in, and so they ended up playing in an empty arena, almost like the COVID days.
Raptors have been doing well.
They have actually. Yeah, you're right.
They're 4.5 back of Miami now in the East. 4.5. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And they've won 3 in
know
a
they're
row.
not.
They beat Indiana, but I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
I'm not. With the way they've been playing lately, I'm not surprised.
They beat the Celtics, who have been on a tear lately. They beat Minnesota, who have been on a tear lately. They're 4.5 back. Siakam is just absolutely on fire. I think he scored 40 the other
40,
night.
yeah.
But I'm very excited about
Yeah.
the playoffs.
No,
And
same
we're
here.
in there, baby.
Yeah.
Now the Leafs, let's see. How much time we have left, Leah? 26 minutes. So we got a few minutes. So we can talk about the Leafs a little bit. And, some of the other
Austin
teams.
Matthews getting his 50th, the first least, or the fastest Leaf to get it.
Rick Vaive was
Rick
the
Vaive,
first, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then the last thing was Andrew Chuck.
That's right, Andrew Chuck. Didn't Dougie do it?
No.
No, he didn't.
No, he got 47. Talk about dipping, like, jeez.
So this week, we had a bad start. Of course, the Saturday night game was very depressing for most of us.
Shit show.
Who are Leaf fans. We always seem to
Against Montreal.
Montreal 4-2. We beat Florida and Boston.
Yeah.
How do you like me now?
And Florida's
then
in first
Winnipeg.
place.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the problem when the playoffs come up is the Leafs are in the toughest division in hockey.
Yeah.
You've got Boston, Florida, Tampa Bay. Who do you want to play?
yeah.
None of them.
None of them.
No, make them all go away,
Yeah.
please.
We even beat Boston for crying out loud.
Now, Winnipeg, or no, we'll go with Montreal first. They went in for shits this week. They lost 3. They beat the Leafs, and then they went and lost to New Jersey. Go figure that.
Yeah.
Florida and Carolina, who are hot. And then Ottawa, they've lost 2 this week. They only played 2.
Yeah, Melnick passing away as well, eh?
That's sad.
We hadn't brought that up too.
The Ottawa franchise would not be there without that.
No, not without him, and that kind of shocked me too, because he was only like 64 or something. He wasn't.
50. No. That was, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was only like 60 years. Yeah, he was your age.
Yeah.
But I guess he'd been ill for a while, and
it's
to
sad.
the Melnick family, again, our deepest condolences.
But Ottawa, they lost 2. They lost to Florida and Nashville. And Winnipeg, they won 2, lost 1. They beat Arizona and Buffalo. And, of course, they lost to the Leafs on Thursday. Calgary, they won 1 and lost 2. They pounded Edmonton 9-5 on Saturday.
That was crazy.
That was a good game, eh?
That was, yeah.
Colorado, they lost to them, and they lost to the Kings, who are in second place behind them. Calgary's in first place in the
Yes,
Western Conference.
I saw that last night.
Or the Western Division. Calgary, of course, the Oilers, they won 2. They beat Arizona and the Kings, and they lost to Calgary. Vancouver, they won 1 and lost 2 in a row to St. Louis. They beat Dallas, as I mentioned, the Raptors. And, of course, Team Canada is in the World Cup.
I know, eh? Is it
Can you
first
believe
time
that?
since when? Like,
20-some-odd years ago.
Yeah.
It's quite a few years.
yeah, it's been a
Now,
long time. The 80s, wasn't it?
We lost to Panama in the last game. It doesn't matter because we went through with Mexico and the United
Yeah.
States. This is the World Cup in Qatar, and it's happening in November.
Yeah.
Strange date. Usually a summer.
I know,
World Cup.
like-
But it's Qatar's hot all the time.
It's
it
like
doesn't matter.
it's like close to the equator.
Now this is what Canada is up against. This
Yeah.
is the group that we have drawn. It's not that bad. It could be worse. We've got Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia. I would say Belgium, probably the top team there. Croatia is a soccer power,
Damn right.
and Morocco, they'll kick your ass too. So we're in deep there. So, but of course, Italy didn't even make it. At least we're not up against the Germans or England or France or someone.
When
big.
the first time I saw Italy not make, I was stunned. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
I'll tell you one thing: soccer is a religion in Italy.
God,
And,
yeah. It's one of the
it's
main
like
religions
breathing.
in Italy.
It's like breathing. the Surrey are much loved. And as an Englishman, I remember all the years that Italy did us in.
Yeah.
You know, in soccer. And hey, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, you didn't make it this time.
All right, we're going to wrap up. We're getting the people into the restaurant here. We're at the Appalachian Public Drink House in Georgetown, Ontario. Starting to get busy in here, so we're going to wrap things up. It's a little room that rocks. Check them out on Facebook. Of course, our friends at Canadian Tourism. So if you're in the area, you're touring Canada, come check out the little room that rocks for lots of great
Our
live
radio
music.
is seen
So,
all over the world.
everywhere.
And, don't forget our radio stations, FM 108.ca, 50s, 60s, 70s, and Radio GTA
yeah.
is a free-form format. We support Canadian tourism, Canadian news, weather, sports, with a rustic feel, just like this. And we play your favorites and keep you informed. All right?
Right
And,
on.
of course, we own a local station too, Halton Hills Online Radio.
You might want to check that out too. If you want to check out the area and find out cool things that are going on here, because you're going to come and visit through the Canadian Tourism Program, we'd love to have you check that out. For Big Daddy Russ Horton, myself, Lee Lake, and Leah Lywood, and the Air Radio News team, we want to thank you all for tuning into these videos every week and downloading them or saving them and watching them and all that cool stuff. And we want to make sure that you have a fantastic week.
Expanding community worldwide from Canada's hometown, Halton Hills, Canada. Here we are.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.